Recording in progress. Wonderful. Hello, Alex.
Hello, hello.
What did you have for breakfast?
So I had a bit of yogurt and an apple. Very healthy.
Doesn't sound that bad. Pretty good. Pretty good.
What about you?
I had pancakes. I should do my intermediate fasting, but I skipped today. So I had pancakes, which my wife made, and they were wonderful.
Nice.
With some Canadian maple syrup. So
Tasty.
Yes. Okay. Enough of the small talk. Let's get into the important stuff, which today is about struggles as a creative or something like that. Well, yeah, I guess I had this idea that like both of us, like I'm in the full on being a full-time creative, well, I guess part-time freelancer, part-time like creative for a bit over a year. You've been, I think, nearly 2 years in that type of situation. So I think it would be interesting to talk about like kind of the disadvantages and maybe some struggles we face and what's not cool about being a creator, because I think from the outside, it always looks like, oh my God, this is like amazing. And overall it is. I'm like super happy. But of course, there are probably some things which could be better and some struggles which maybe some people don't talk about. So we could discuss that and see where it takes us. Do you have something in mind? Do you want to start?
Yes, I think like the first one, and maybe something that people who have been like a creator for a long time can relate, is like the constant pressure to keep creating, because obviously consistency plays a huge role, right, in growing an audience, in growing, like in being a creator in general. You need to be consistent, because if you do it once every month, then then I think that as creators, we know that, and we have like this bug in our mind. And I don't know if it happened to you too, but I guess it happened to me, for example, a few times. Like it comes like Friday and I'm like, oh shit, like I need to think about 2 tweets or 2 visuals to put out on the weekend, because how can I be 2 days without posting anything? That has been happening in my mind. Like lately I don't care that much about it, but I really remember that early on in the journey, that was like a huge thing, like that pressure to always be like, oof, you need to create 10 pieces of content, come on, like you cannot spend more than 1 day without something being out there. So
yeah, there definitely is this thing, I think, to me as well. You have this feeling like if you'll take a vacation and like switch everything off, like everything will go down. And exactly. But I guess it has faded, because previously I was super consistent with like putting something out every day, and mostly I did, and it wasn't that hard because I really like enjoy it and so on. But yeah, currently I usually skip weekends, because I'm like, I've actually noticed that a lot of people usually weekends do a bit like worse in terms of engagement. And I was thinking, probably some part of the world is taking a break in the weekend, and probably you should do too. And just so if something comes to mind, I'll just tweet it out, or I'll make something if I really want to. But I kind of let the weekends slide. But there's definitely this sense of treadmill stuff, and I actually been talking a lot about this, that one thing I want to get good at and kind of implement is some sort of system, and start to batch content, where I really maybe in a couple of days I crank out the content for a week or maybe 2 weeks, and kind of schedule it, instead of the thing that I'm still doing, which is basically creating something and pretty much publishing it right out of the gate. Like every day I'm creating something, and just like kind of my attention is very then sliced or scattered or whatever you call it. And I struggle a bit to focus on other things. So definitely a thing.
But the solution, as you said, it's a system. I've been testing a new way of creating for me, and for the last 2 weeks I've allocated like every Monday, like the first thing that I do on the Monday, so after the weekend, like 3 or 4 hours just sitting down and like writing all of my tweets for the week, writing all the threads, writing the newsletter, and making like whatever visuals or whatever I want to do for Instagram. And I've been testing that for 2 weeks, and it's super cool. I mean, it's a bit hard, because you're like doing like a super, like a content, like a creation sprint, but at the same time, it's so comfortable to just put those hours on Monday, and then the rest of the week I'm like, I don't need to do anything else. I cannot even log into Twitter if I don't need to, because I mean, I still do it because I enjoy talking to people, but I don't need to do it, So that's one thing that I've been testing, and so far it's working like pretty well. So I think I will continue doing it.
Yeah. And I think another point here to mention is that I guess for us, I can understand that we feel it a bit more maybe than others, because for example, my creator type of income, I think, is very closely tied to the content I create on socials, because most of the sales come from like, okay, some person discovered me on socials, he has a course, I would love to do this, and they click and buy it and blah, blah, blah. And I believe it's the same thing for you.
Yeah, it's similar.
But at the same time, for example, like it doesn't go anywhere, and I guess Jack Butcher recently, he put out this course, which both we bought on the pre-sale, which is about like how to build a better SEO and something, because he was saying that majority of his sales come in from socials as well, and he wants to change it because he wants to be a bit more like off the socials, that's why he wants to build this SEO traffic. And I think when you have that, let's say if like business is running more or less fine, if you log into those socials or not, I think it's completely okay, because you don't, I think, lose relevance in general, because there are so many awesome creators that tweet like once a week or something, and I'm like, oh my god, nice, Julian posted something, I'll check it out, and he's like then gone for another month or something. So yeah, I think we feel it a bit more because it's very closely tied to the business, so it's kind of cool. Yeah, I guess it's cool to create those systems, but it's cool to figure out other ways how to have that definitely. Income, so you're not relying on socials that much.
Yeah, for me like a long-term play will be not to need to be on social platforms at all, only be there because if I want to do it. But long term it will be ideal, and I don't need to be on Twitter or Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever, that would be perfect.
Yeah, because I think like it's awesome to meet like new people and stuff, but at a certain point you have enough of like close friendships around you that you can stick to the iMessages and kind of have enough of this socializing and all that sort of stuff that you really are not really looking for like more relationships or whatever. And still, if we like have like newsletters and stuff, some more people will come from there, and people are replying, so you get the stream of new people, right, regardless. But yeah, that's a good one. Definitely, I guess we agreed that both of us kind of struggle with. So I don't know, something else which I think which I've recently started to notice more, is that, it kind of goes together with the content creation, but that you really don't have any backups, because some people are like, hey, like, can I get like invoice or receipt for this, or something didn't work, and you're kind of this all-in-one person, and I don't yet have any sort of team or assistant. And to be honest, I really don't want to. I would love to like automate everything and be like do everything on my own, but I believe at some point, like hopefully I'll get in a stage and income level that I can like afford assistant and just maybe it works out and it's great. But yeah, it feels sometimes a bit that there's so much these little administrative tasks which I really didn't realize when I was creating like content and still working in my 9 to 5. I woke up my early mornings, I created my visual, I posted it on socials, and that was that, and there was no other thing. I was able to like answer everybody and then answer
life was easy
DMs and and so on. Then you go to your 9 to 5, but now you're like creating content, and then you start, okay, I will build a newsletter and we will have this podcast, and you're doing some freelance on the side, and then you need to do all those administrative tasks. So I guess it's good problems to have, but that's something I've kind of noticed, and I don't think I realized it when I started, that it might get so kind of overwhelming at some point, I guess.
And just like if like things like it's annoying things, but things that you need to do, like keeping track of how much money you spend like on tools or whatever, or I mean, you can definitely not do it, but my advice is that you do it. Even if it's just like a super simple Excel spreadsheet or whatever, like, okay, how much I'm spending, because maybe you don't realize that you are spending this much money in this tool and maybe you don't use this tool, or how much you are making even, but also taxes, also like stuff like that. So, there is a lot of super many things to worry that are not creating, right? So
yeah, that's true. Okay, well, yeah, in terms of taxes, I guess I'm covered there because I have a bookkeeper which basically
yeah.
does everything. I'm just like, that was
Yeah,
the initial pitch. Like, I do this. I'm very stupid in taxes. I want you to take care of everything.
No, me too.
And
I do
explain
have
my
it.
stupid questions.
I do have one, and that was like my advice in this sense is like, if there is something that you don't understand or you really don't want to do it, just hire someone to do it, you know. And it's not at the same level of hiring an assistant, but you know, I pay, I don't know how much it is, I think it's like 40 euros per month or something like that, and you know, they take care of my invoices, so I just need to send the invoice, and they do the rest, you know, like they figure out the taxes, they file the taxes for me, they tell me how much taxes I'm going to pay and which day I'm going to pay them and stuff like that. So that's useful.
Yeah, definitely. That's get your taxes right, because I've heard stories where it gets like not pretty if you don't do this thing right. But of course, depends on the country you're in as well. Yeah, that's another thing. Okay, what else? Do you have something, or yeah?
Yeah, I have one which is a good thing and a bad thing, and it's the freedom to do things. And that's a good thing on one side because you get to do whatever you want. But on the other side, if you're not like an organized person or like a structured type of person, it can be like a nightmare, you know, because it's super easy for me to, and this is a bad thing, to switch from, okay, I'm doing this, and then switch to this other thing because I just came up with this thing, and then switch to this other thing. And I remember, like, at the end of the day, when you are like a 9 to 5, you usually have like a boss and that tells you what to do, more or less, you know, and okay, this needs to be done by today. And when you are like alone or like a creator, you are the person marking these things. And if you don't do it, it's super easy for at least I think it's super easy for you to get like derailed and just like you know, be all over the place and not have like a structure and organization, you know. So you know, that freedom is both a blessing and a curse at the same time, I think.
Yeah, that you kind of described me there. So I can definitely relate to that. This actually gave me another idea, I think, which I kind of face, which is like, again, it's kind of a blessing and a curse at the same time. But I think there's a nice solution for this, which I wanted to ask you about. But it's basically, you know, about, okay, where to take things further, how, you know, strategy or whatever you call it, you know, like how to do things, what could be the stuff you build next, you know, how you could improve your funnels, like all these business decisions which could help like you to like grow better, get more revenue, have happier customers, and all that sort of stuff. It's kind of on you to decide. And yeah, you can be really in your own bubble and make a lot of stupid and bad decisions. When you're kind of in an organization, you know, there's you can come together and kind of decide things. But I think a nice solution for creators is kind of to have these mastermind groups, which I know like loads of creators are participating in. I haven't, but it's something maybe I should consider. And this led me to ask you about how it's going with the expensive community that you joined recently.
No, it's good. So right now I'm just like looking at the materials and so on, but I had a call with Jay, who is the founder, and you know, it's part of the welcome of the welcome sequence, let's say. You know, you have like a call with him, and just to tell you tell him about what you do, and you know, if he has suggestions, then he gives it to you, whatever. So he gave me already like a pretty few suggestions around like my business and, you know, how to approach it, or how, you know, a few suggestions. So that's already good. I haven't implemented anything yet, but I have to, you know, I'm taking a few days to think about it, you know, like just to let it sink in and stuff like that. So
are you willing to share some of those, or maybe later?
So one of my main concerns is that I'm looking to build like, or to become more like a full-time creator, and, you know, not rely that much on the freelance side of things, because just because, you know, I don't want to sell my time for money. I think we are like on a similar page there. So one of the things for you to need that is that you need like a super clear niche, you know, or type of people that you are targeting, at least to be like more effective in that sense. And the problem is that for me, I realized that with my content and with my newsletter and so on, I target one niche, which is super interesting niche, but at the same time, it's like one of the widest niches out there, which is creators, you know. So it's super hard to define a creator, because a creator can be you and me. It can be like a freelancer that creates content to get more business. It can be like a business owner that creates content to get more leads. All of them are creators and all of them are interested in content creation, but they do it for different reasons. So what I was struggling and still are is like, should I niche a little bit more and just focus into one of these personas? Should I keep trying to like try to talk to all of these wide range of creators and have my let's say digital products and services like all more like fragmented? Or should I niche down, and then maybe later you can try to expand? But if you niche down, I feel like if you niche down, like you will get like more ideas, if you have like, if you're targeting like exactly one type of person, it's easier, but it's a decision that I need to make, but I'm not sure which direction to go. So he was helping me think about that basically. So that was
but the advice basically was that if you will niche down, things will become easier for you. You will know better what type of products to make.
Whether exactly what problems to solve, what problems they are facing. It's way easier. But because for me, like, I can be like, what's the number one problem that creators have? And it can be being consistent. Okay, and I can create something to solve consistency, but that's something that I create doesn't look the same for a freelance than a business owner, than someone that does it as a side project. It's not the same. They have like different needs and different problems and different goals too. So that was like the thing.
Okay. Yeah, the good old niche question. It's always painful because niching down is painful.
It's one of the things that a lot of people ask me, like, how do I find my niche? And I'm like, I don't feel like I haven't found like 100% of my niche yet. I know I have a sense of it, but it's not super defined, for me yet. As you said, I'm 2 years in now, and it probably will be like 2 years more until I find out. So
yeah, it kind of feels that one way how I solve this problem. But this only, I think, really solves the problem around what type of content to create. I create content that I would like to see. Very simple, very simple. And that works. But I think when you're building products, you can get in a very nasty places if you will build products that you want to see, because that's kind of tricky. I built my course because people were kind of really asking for it, and there was a clear validation for it. But going further, it's a bit... I don't know. Yeah. So that niching down. Yeah.
It's what we were talking like off camera, that you said that maybe, inside the visuals, there is like a lot of smaller niches that you could be targeting. I just said like business people, like businesses, startups, CEOs who want to make better pitches to get money, So I feel like if you niche down into there, you would be like, it will be easier for you to create those products and everything.
Yeah, but that's kind of interesting, because I think where it comes painful, it's not hard to niche down for a product, because I plan to, go more into startup scene and business scene and solve these particular specific problems. And I plan to create maybe some specific content here and there. And I don't know, but in general, I don't want to change my content strategy. I don't want to start to like now make content to attract those people. So it might get tricky. So I don't know, because you need to have that funnel. And if that funnel is not coming from your content creation, or it's coming, but like the percentage is very small with those people. But yeah, who knows? Interesting. Food for thought.
It's a lot to think about. I haven't thought too much about it. So I don't know where I will land.
Yeah. What else? What else about content creation? Yeah, I guess another blessing and a curse is I think is, as kind of you said, the freedom. As well. Like my hours are super. When I worked in 9 to 5, there was a strict schedule, and currently I really don't. There's like somehow sometimes you feel that like plan too much, whatever random things and family, friends, this and that, and there's not that much of time to work. But then again, why do you work? But yeah, well, I guess I work because I really love to. I love this stuff, and I find a lot of fulfillment in it. But it's hard sometimes to manage these hours, especially from working from home and stuff. Yeah,
it's highly distracting to work from home. You know, it's super easy to get comfortable. I get like too much comfortable.
It is, and there's always this like, not. Well, I guess you can create these strict boundaries between like when your spouse can come in and like bother you, you know, with some sort of question, or when it's off the table and when it's not. So yeah, that's kind of interesting, but something which crossed my mind quite a bit. Yeah. Something else in terms of struggles that you've experienced or maybe did not expect and now are facing?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I feel the thing that I don't want is that to scare people away. You know, like it's still like these things that we are mentioning is just like a small part of it. I think the upside is way higher, you know, and way bigger and way worth pursuing a career as a creator, even if it's like right now, me and you, we're like half creators, half freelance service providers, and still like a pretty comfortable life, I believe. You know, we probably make more money than we used to at the 9 to 5. We work maybe less hours depending on the project, but usually less hours. And we get like connections with people. I met so many cool people, you know, so much interesting people, and it opens so many doors, this thing of being a creator, which is so cool, you know, like
absolutely
definitely more upside.
Definitely more upside. Like I've recently have thought about this concept, like I don't know if I heard somewhere or I noted down, didn't quite remember, but like basically the idea is that like when you are a creator, you have leverage and you have like freedom of choice. Like when you're working in a job, you kind of don't have any of those things. You don't have like the leverage. You know how much hours you put in, usually that's the amount you get out. You can get like hired and stuff, but like while being as a creator, especially online, where the like upside of leverage and just scaling is absolutely insane. You can get like, there is an absolutely real possibility that like, for example, now we make, let's say 5K a month, and next year we make 50K a month. That is absolutely possible while being a creator. Working in 9 to 5, it's close to impossible if you're not like a business owner or something. And again, you have the freedom of choice. Like nobody tells me when to be where or whatever. So all those things which we kind of listed as the negatives are completely solvable. You know, I'm just being lazy by solving them right now. And maybe I will do it at some point. But I guess this is just episode where we can complain a bit and talk about this. But the upside is definitely insane.
Definitely.
So go and become a creator.
Join us in the dark side.
Join us in the dark side. So I don't know, any closing things, or let's end it on this positive note.
Let's end it here. I think it's a good way to end the episode.
Okay.